Hey guys, Joe Tunney here at Infiniti of Kirkland in Kirkland, Washington, just outside of Seattle, taking a look at a 2010 Volvo XC60 T6 just traded in here at Infiniti of Kirkland. Now, if you followed Volvo, T6 means T for turbo, 6 for 6-cylinder engine. They've been using that formula forever and a day. And so the T6, 281 horsepower versus 235 in a conventional or normally aspirated 6-cylinder engine, gives it that extra oomph that a car of this size honestly really needs, especially with all-wheel drive. If you've ever driven an XC60, especially a T6, they're actually one of the most fun to drive sport utilities on the market. They're a great looking car. They're probably the sexiest lines of any small sport utility sold in the United States. Volvos historically haven't driven, though, as well as their style might indicate. In the case of the XC60, they drive extremely well. In fact, compared to the XC80, even though it's a more expensive, fuller sized vehicle, is actually a dinosaur compared to the XC60. The XC60 is far nicer than the XC80. Now, this particular car is super duper loaded, and so if you notice up on the windshield up here, you have this various array of things recessed within the windshield. One thing is, I've never had to replace a windshield on one of these Volvos with all of these electronic features up there. I have a feeling they're pretty expensive. I would want to check with my insurance if I was buying one, if they would cover a windshield on this, because windshields with all of these kinds of individual arrays tend to be over $1,000 to replace, and anybody who's lived up in Seattle for any length of time knows that we go through windshields up here quite a lot. It has what's called a city safety feature. That's the bulk of what you see up there. And so city safety means if a pedestrian is walking or anything's in front of the vehicle at speeds 19 miles an hour or below, it'll automatically read that and hit the brakes and even come to a complete stop if necessary to avoid things that are going on in front of the car. Plus, it also has laser guided cruise control, so that if somebody cuts you off while you're in cruise control, the vehicle will automatically slow down to maintain the same distance that you had before they cut you off. And then it has parking sensors in the front, parking sensors in the rear, and a rear view camera as well. Come take a look around the side of this one. Now, this has SIPs and bliss and all these Volvo acronyms that they've come up with over the years. And so the SIPs is the side impact protection system, so it has airbags all the way around. And then bliss is the blind spot intervention. And so you'll see there's little cameras actually right inside the lower part of the mirrors. And so what that's doing is it's reading traffic on the side of the vehicle, so that if you swerve into traffic coming out of your lane, it will warn you that, hey, you're about to crash into a car, ding dong, you need to get back into your lane. Now, being a T6, the interior is a little bit more sumptuous, got more of a gourmet look to it. The textured leather is very nice. In fact, it's two different kinds of texture. It's a very sporty looking interior, and then it has the two-tone stitching as well. It's nice. It's actually very, very comfortable and very good looking. Back seat, well, pretty good room. I mean, it's not a big sport utility, and so it's a very purposefully sized vehicle. Yet still, here I am. I've got the front seat all the way back, and it's 6 feet and almost 200 pounds. I'm actually really comfortable here in the back seat. Plenty of leg room. I could have 2 of me back here, no problem. 3 of me in a pinch. And then this one has heated seats in the back as well as heated seats in the front. This does not have, there's a booster seat option that's available on some of these Volvos. One of the giveaways it does not have the booster seat is that it has the rear heated seats, because if you get the booster seat, you do not get the rear heated seats. Taking a look in the back. Power liftgate. This is a technology package, so it has everything going for it. Although the XC60 is too small to have a third row seat, it's actually very, very roomy behind the second row seat. And so most small sport utilities, the rake or the slope of the hatchback part of the vehicle really intrudes on this space right here. This is actually cavernous interior space. You could load this up with a lot of gear and still have 5 people inside. Let's come take a look inside. Now, for all the nice things about the Volvo, there is one feature I really can't stand, and it's their navigation system. And I don't understand in the modern world why they have to have a navigation system that is so hopelessly outdated and complicated. In the modern world, this stuff's not that big of a deal. And so it says when I turn the car on, I need to push enter to make the navigation system work. So I'm looking all over the car. I can't find anywhere where there's a button that says enter. They could put it anywhere here and it would be really easy to find, but they choose not to do that. Instead, it's way back here behind the steering wheel, and there's no way to know that it's there. Your toggle switch is behind the steering wheel. Your back button is behind the steering wheel. They have acres of space to put all this stuff, but they don't put it there. They put it behind the steering wheel here. And why that is a mystery of the universe. And then they have the way that this stack is done. This is really stylish. I mean, this is really nice. Volvo has their own way of doing the center stack, which I really like a lot. But why do they have to go to the lengths of having two different components here? Neither of them look particularly good. They should really have just integrated this whole unit as one unit and then just moved these buttons over. It would have looked better. It would have been a million times more functional, but it is what it is. Overall, it's still fantastic. It's just that's one limitation that's bothersome. Now this has the Dynaudio sound, so it has the 12-speaker stereo system, which is a great stereo system. It has a panoramic moonroof, so it's got that almost convertible top or target top type of letting light in glass concept that's very, very popular and looks expensive and feels expensive. It's a great car. It's a great looking car. It's loaded to the nines. It's the turbo motor. It has everything going for it in the world. Overall, I think this is a car that I personally would be thrilled to own. If you would like to know more about it, please give me a call anytime. My name is Joe Tunney here at Infiniti of Kirkland. You can call me at 425-821-1600 or just drop me an email at joet@infinitiofkirkland.com.